Just like a good Boy Scout, a guitar player should be prepared. Here's a couple of things to keep in your guitar case at all times. First of all, a set of replacement strings, and make sure they match the ones that are on your guitar now. Second, a pair of wire cutters or a pair of needle nose pliers that have a wire cutter built in. And third, a string winder. Now the reason for this will become obvious in just about 1 minute. As I said, you never know when you're going to break a string. Anything could happen. For instance, oops. Now from this point on, all guitars are a little bit different, especially at the bridge. Now I'm going to show you the acoustic guitars in a second. We'll start off with this electric here. This has a pretty typical setup. First thing you have to do is get rid of the old string. You see a little bit hanging out here. And so you shove it down through the body, and you see it come out the back, grab it, and pull it. Now you notice a little ball on the end of the string, and that's very important. That's what holds it in place. So your new string will have the same thing. The other end is still attached to the tuning peg, so I just take it and start unwinding until it comes free. Now you get your replacement string, and make sure you get the right one, because as you know, each string is a little bit different. And take it out of the pack. It's coiled up nice and neat like this, and just unwind it so it's straight. Get all the knots out. And then turn the guitar over and feed the new string through the body exactly the same way that the old string came out. So you find the hole there, stick it in there, wiggle it around, it comes through, you grab it, and just keep pulling. And check one time to make sure that the ball goes all the way into the hole. And once that's there, then you're ready to string it up. Now here's the trickiest part. First of all, you feed it through the little hole on the peg. Try to line the hole up along the neck, it's easier. And once you get it through the hole, you go through a certain amount. Now, how much? You just kind of learn how much. You leave a little bit of slack, about like this right here, and then bend it slightly so it stays snug against the peg, okay? Now, this is where that little tool comes into play, our string winder. I take the string winder and I place it right over the tuning peg and I start cranking. Now remember, to tune up, you turn counterclockwise. And as I crank, I kind of keep my fingers on the string and just keep turning and turning until it starts to tighten up. And try to keep the windings all nice and neat. You don't want them to get all sloppy in there, because that'll make it go out of tune quicker. And eventually you get to a point where it feels like it's kind of stiff, and you're there. All right, now, last step, take your wire cutters and cut the string off, and I recommend highly that you bend the remaining part down to keep from stabbing yourself in the finger. And we're done. Now if you have a steel string acoustic, it's a little bit different at the bridge, and here's the difference. The strings on a steel string are held in place by little plastic buttons. So first of all, you get the old string out by reaching down and pulling the button that covers up the broken string, and it'll reveal the ball end of the string. You just pull it out, and then you take the new string, put it back in the hole, make sure that the slot on the peg faces forward, faces the string, and press the peg back into place, and you're all set to tune it up at the tuning peg. Now if you have a classical guitar, it's quite a bit different, and the reason is that nylon strings do not have a little ball on the end. Instead, you feed the string through the bridge, wrap it around, and there's a little knot that you have to learn how to tie, and the best way to learn how to do that is to have somebody show you how to do it up close and try it yourself in their presence, and then you'll remember it for the rest of your life. Like everything else in a music store, there's an incredible variety when it comes to strings, but they really come down to 3 different types. There's light gauge, medium gauge, and heavy gauge. Now, if you're just starting out, you're probably better off with light to medium gauge strings. If you like what's already on your guitar, find out what's there and then get another set to have as a replacement. But if you feel like you want to make a change, just experiment a little bit, and there's so many choices you'll have no problem. Let's talk about picks for a second. Like strings, there's basically 3 varieties. There's light, medium, and heavier. Now if you play an acoustic guitar, you're probably best using a light to medium pick. It brings out the resonance of the guitar more than a heavy pick. Most people on electric tend to prefer heavier picks because they have more bite on an electric guitar. It's going to take some experimentation to find the right weight and size of picks. Some are large, some are small. After you play around with picks for a while, you'll find what you like. And the great thing is they're cheap, so you can afford to experiment a lot.